Hi Charlie, welcome to my 29th video poll analysis day where I break down and analyze the LinkedIn poll that I posted last week and that closed this morning. As I've promised for the past few days, I will be showing you the screen where it shows that on LinkedIn this poll was actually posted, and I'm not just making these questions and responses and distributions out of thin air. These are legitimate questions that I did post onto LinkedIn, and while none of the responses are necessarily representative of any particular population, they do represent the consolidated thoughts of the LinkedIn connections who chose to vote on my polls. So anyway, we are finally transitioning away from the Super Bowl. We only have a few poll questions left to discuss about that this year. They are coming up in a few days, but we are transitioning from that topic because the Super Bowl buzz, I guess, was dying down at this point. We're transitioning from that onto more financial, marketing, pop culture related topics that are not the Super Bowl. So if you've been tired of that, here's your chance to stay and watch. Okay, so last week's poll question was, which safe asset would you rather invest in, gold or US government bonds? Now, 77 people voted on this poll, and I assumed that everyone, or at least almost everyone, was going to choose US government bonds because they're considered the gold standard of creditworthiness and avoiding default, and just there's a sensation that I've heard from several of my finance professors that if the USA stops paying interest on its bonds, stops repaying the principal of its bonds, we as American citizens have a lot more to worry about than all of these common fears about recession and inflation. Basically, our country's on the brink of collapse. So I assumed that most everyone would say that US government bonds were the safest asset you could possibly invest in. But boy, was I wrong about that, because 62% of my 77 voters said that they considered gold to be the safer asset to invest in, while only 38% believed that US government bonds were the safe asset. So let's review a couple of stats about gold in particular that might explain why people are suddenly considering it one of the safest assets out there. Actually, it's had a reputation for that for decades at this point, and in fact, even the ancient Egyptians considered gold to be one of the best stores of wealth and value there is. But I guess we're now rediscovering the power and sustainability of gold in this increasingly uncertain economic era. Anyway, gold prices climbed 26% in 2024, outperforming the stock market by a few percentage points. Prices of gold have climbed 9.42% in January 2025 alone, so if you invested in gold at the beginning of 2024 or even at the beginning of 2025, you are sitting quite pretty right now, assuming of course that gold prices don't decline overall in February or March. You're sitting pretty. In 2024, central banks purchased 1,045 metric tons of gold. I suppose they're worried about recessions and economic instability, so they're shifting their asset allocations to assets that are considered extremely safe and stable, and in times of economic uncertainty, that asset is most certainly gold. Gold is currently, as of last week, trading at $2,886 per ounce. So if you want to buy an ounce of pure gold, and an ounce is like, what is it, 1/16 of a pound? So it's a pretty small amount. So you'll still need a significant amount of money to even purchase a tiny, tiny little piece of gold that you can probably fit in your palm. SPDR Gold Shares, aka GLD, is the largest pure play gold exchange traded fund, or ETF, and this GLD ETF gained 27% in 2024, which is right in line with the gold overall price of gold, like the pure gold if you bought a raw ounce of it, climbing 26% in 2024. To date this year, as of mid-February 2025, GLD, that ETF I just talked about, is up 7.53%. And despite these fantastic gains in the value of gold over 2024 and so far in 2025, investment professionals still recommend only having a 5% gold allocation in your portfolio. Now, this is not financial advice. This is literally just an online statistic that I found in one of my newsletters about what extremely smart people recommend you should be doing with gold. But again, please consult a financial professional for financial advice. I am not a licensed financial advice provider, So do your own research, please. This is not financial advice or investment advice, as I've said multiple times. Now, as I promised during the past few days, I will be showing you the origin of this poll question. So here it is. Ta-da! So as you can see, we have the question, which safe asset would you rather invest in? We have the two answer choices, gold and U.S. government bonds. And as I indicated earlier, you can clearly see that gold was the winner with a pretty gigantic margin, garnering almost 2 times as many votes as U.S. government bonds. So if you're considering a safe asset to invest in during these turbulent times, you should consider both of these options, again, with the assistance of a financial professional who knows what they're talking about. But this is just a nice little survey to, I suppose, gauge the sentiments of my LinkedIn audience. Now, this poll didn't gain as much traction as I would have liked. My average votes are about 80 to 85, whereas this poll only got 77. But considering how weighty of a financial topic this is, and how you probably need at least some specialized financial knowledge to make sense of the question, I would actually consider 77 votes to be a pretty good performance for this type of financially specific question. So anyway, Charlie, thank you for listening to my little spiel about safe assets, and stay tuned for my 30th, I can't believe it's been 4 weeks already, my 30th video poll analysis tomorrow. And as always, actually, I just added them yesterday, but the link to this LinkedIn poll will be included in the description box below if you want to check out the origin of my question, my statistics, my distribution, and if you want to check out my other content on LinkedIn. I post daily polls on there, as well as weekly long-form content about little updates regarding my academic and professional life. So anyway, Charlie, thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.